know what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 What is good, family? It is always good to be here on a Monday evening, ready for another How It All Works. Oh man. Let me know in the chat where you're watching from. Let me know what we got going on. We got 6 of you guys hanging out with us already today. I see Kerwin Bornell is here, one of the mods. Come on, Doc. He says, what's good, Kirk and fam? I see a comment from Go Giga Creations. She says, it's not in my other list here, so I've got to find it because she commented before she says, I will be watching while producing some show. She's got some show she's producing. So yeah, Toya is going to be watching while producing. She came to see the magic that is. I see you out there, Seesaw Studio. Kerwin says, I'm first, y'all. I love it. Kerwin, you first, man. That is what's up. That is what's up. Talk to me in the comments. I see some of you guys are coming on in. This is what we want to do right now, right here, right now. This is a live video Q&A session. Okay, I want to clarify because some people are like, well, what does that mean? It means bring your questions, y'all. That means you got to be active in the chat. I want to make sure you guys are active starting now, right? Starting now. Computer Pal says, man, I love those intros. Thank you so much, bro. You know, we've been working on some stuff here. You know, this is a new season, so we got some stuff for you. In fact, we got some news for you as well. And because we have news for you, I can't talk too long. I see Andrew Kavanaugh is here. It says, watching from Los Angeles on Facebook. What's good, Andrew? Thank you so much for coming through. I see G. Albert is here. Thank you so much for being with us, G. Albert. Always a pleasure. Always good to have you coming through. I see Albert says, hello, Monte and Kirk. Listen, man, I've got to rush and get Monte on screen so that everybody can just kind of engage. We have some family time, right? This is gonna be family time. We're gonna have some fun. Let's go to our news. I'm looking in the comments. Kerwin says the PTZ King. I love it. And we had some PTC news last week. So let's get into our live video news.
Your number one source for live video news.
All right. We got news. You can see all of the headlines on the screen right now. All the headlines are on the screen right now, and we're going to dive into that in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you about a couple of little things. We just want to make sure we keep these things in front of you. The ebook is there, y'all. Make use of it. 31 live streaming tips to grow your audience. There's another one coming out, hopefully before the end of the year. So we want to make sure you get this one and then build on it with the next one, okay? So keep that in mind. Thank you so much for all those who've already purchased it and your support. It means the world to us. Next thing we have on the list is some merch. We got to keep current with the merch. Build on your intellectual property. For those that are watching it on the big screen, you can probably see that a little bit better, but build on your intellectual property. I see some comments are still coming through. Love it. I love it. I am a creator T on ENN. I love it. Build on your intellectual property. That's what we have here for merch. And then we want to always make sure you guys know what shows we have coming up. The How It All Works show is on first Mondays, mid-month huddle. That's today. Second Mondays. Then we have the membership meetup that is immediately following the mid-month huddle. Then we have convos and collabs. And of course, we have studio consultations on Wednesdays on Amazon Live. So definitely want to make sure you guys get a chance to check those out. The podcast is up and running. Exclusive content. That means it's no longer a derivative of our live show. These are brand new interviews done specifically for the podcast. Elad Rozansky from EV Mux had him on the podcast. That is actually out right now. This coming Thursday, we will have Chris P. Giles on the podcast talking about shortcuts to make more content. We had a really good time, me and Chris. So we're excited about this one. And we got some really cool stuff coming up. James Hicks. We got Chris Stone coming on the podcast. We've got Stephanie Liu coming on the podcast. You're going to want to keep it locked. It's going to be nice. We're going to keep that thing locked. Of course, as I mentioned already, we will have our DIY video creators meetup immediately following the live show today, which is why we got to keep it moving. Listen, the series continues. The EV Mux series continues on the channel. How does EV Mux match up with StreamYard? This is a good one. A lot of my audience definitely want to make sure you guys catch this one, because this one, we definitely go and we kick the tires and we do some comparisons, right? That's what it's all about. Doing the comparison to make sure we understand all of the different pieces. Let me see what we got here. Kirk, what app do you live stream with is what the question is. So Kirk, what app do you live stream with? The app that I'm using right now is Ecamm. Ecamm Live Pro is what I'm using to live stream with. So then next week on the show, we have Justin Moore, and I'm excited to have him come through from Brand Deal Wizard. Fam, just come on through. We're going to be talking about the psychology of negotiation as a creator and the sponsorship strategy. Fam, you're going to want to know this. Trust me, you're going to want to know this. So definitely make sure you mark your calendar. Come on through. We're going to hang out. We're going to chop it up. Listen, in the news, first up in the news, we have YouTube has rolled out a feature for live streaming. Now, for most of you guys, you should know that if you want to stream from your mobile phone on YouTube, you have to actually have 1,000 subscribers. So you can't just go live. So I wanted you to know that part. That part was always there. But YouTube is rolling out a pseudo studio type scenario where you can actually bring in guests and do a live show just with YouTube. So definitely looking forward to that feature. And I wanted to make sure we give you that news right here. YouTube adds new live stream feature. Then we got Twitter jumping into the podcast race, man. Twitter is becoming a podcast app. A new hub puts podcast and live audio in the same place. So, you know, for all my podcasters out there, for all my live show folk out there, for all my, you know, this is news that you want to be aware of, because Twitter has actually already kind of set themselves as the platform for social audio. Clubhouse, of course, was the first to the punch, but Clubhouse didn't have any other established, you know, platform. So Twitter, being an established social media platform, has rolled out social audio, and they're doing a really good job with it, if in case you did not know. And so now they're deciding, okay, since we're doing well with social audio, let's just couple that with podcasting. And what that means is there's some whole lot of tools and different things that are gonna be coming out on that platform. You want to watch this space, stuff that you want to be aware of. All right, this next one is a little bit more technical. Maybe me and Monty can dive into this a little bit later, but there is a whole new breed of SSDs. SSD means solid state drives for those that are uninitiated. There's a whole new breed of SSDs they're about to break out. They're called CSXs. I'm not going to stay on this long because I know this is way too geek for some of you guys. But CSXs basically internally handle data processing on board. So it's no longer left to the computer. It's like when you plug that drive in, it's like plugging in an additional processor by itself. This is going to have major impact on video transcoding, which is the reason why we're sharing it in our live video news. What's good, JP Hightech? I see you out there. Really, yeah. Amor says that's exciting. Let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike. CSXs. Make sure you mark that term, CSXs. This next one is the Teradek Bolt 6. Let me tell you, your boy Monty got his hands on the Spark. I didn't get my hands on the Spark. I see him laughing backstage right now, but Teradek Bolt 6 is the industry's first, check this, 6 gigahertz zero delay wireless video solution. What does that mean? It means I have like the Hollyland Mars, which is great, but it does have definitely some what's the term I'm looking for? Delay, right? So in between when you send the signal and when it gets to there's a delay, so you have to account for that. But this thing has zero delay, 6 gigahertz. This is a game changer, especially for my production folks out there. Want to set up a camera way away and you don't want to string out that SDI cable or the HDMI cable, fam. Keep your eyes on this. This could be a game changer. There's a lot of different things happening here. A lot of different things. Yes, latency. Kerwin, thank you. Look at this. The community is just sorting me out here. Latency is the term that I was looking for. It is elusive. Here's 2 last ones, and they're both YouTube related. One is that YouTube is launching an ad-free video player for education, y'all. I just want to pause here. No. We're going to have to bring this one back up when Monty comes on. YouTube is launched, like everyday teachers and students across the globe are using YouTube to learn. And a YouTube player for education will help further learning in educational settings by allowing students to engage with new subjects distraction-free. What does that mean, y'all? That means no ads. And then to top it off, YouTube has decided to launch courses. And this is a beta thing that's going to be rolling out here pretty soon. I want you to take a look at this screenshot on the screen here. I'm getting excited because you know I'm a course guy. This is a course. This is literally a mock-up of what it would look like on YouTube to have a course. This would be a playlist of videos. Yeah, that's big. This is a playlist of videos that would not be for anyone else. Somebody who pays for it on YouTube would then have access to it in their YouTube. Like what? Like this makes life so simple because I create, like I'm doing a series right now for EV Mux. That could be a course, honestly. So there's just so many different ways that this could be used. again, I get a little excited with the news, and this is the reason why we put it right here at the beginning. We're trying to get everybody in. We got 15 people watching right now. Hope that you guys are looking at this news. Hope that you're sharing this thing as well, because we're getting ready to dive in to our intro with our guest. This is going to be absolutely major. I'm excited for the mid-month huddle with our guest expert, Monte Weaver. Let's go.
The Mid-Month Huddle. The Mid-Month Huddle. With guest experts and our host, Kirk Nugent. Get your questions ready.
Come on. Get your questions ready. I love this. Monte Weaver.
Man, Kurt, you got the dopest content creator, live stream shows, graphics, and professionalism. This is ridiculous over here, man.
Man, listen, if you're not going to have fun, you got to have fun with this thing. I love it. Seesaw Studios is replying to some of the news. He's like, yo, YouTube is leveling up. Monte, I'm going to give you a chance to just kind of respond here a little bit, man. Talk to me about some of those news items. Wasn't that dope?
Man, well, the Teradek one, I'm a fan of the wireless HDMI systems, and so I saw that one yesterday. Yeah, I saw a YouTube video of it, and I was like, "Oh, and it's on the 6 gigahertz band, so you're not gonna have to deal with as much interference as with some other people." Love the YouTube course thing. I'm a big proponent of YouTube too, man. So the longer you can get someone to stay on YouTube, and now like you said, a series of videos, I could just put them on YouTube, and it's just so much easier, especially if someone's already watching a video.
Come on.
Go watch the rest of my PTZ videos right here.
Right here. And give me a little coin too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it will help people learn how to use YouTube, because we have like super chats and all that. And I think a lot of people still don't understand, like, oh, I can actually donate to someone while they're live streaming. I don't think they really understand how that platform really works. So we have this new component where click. Yeah, sign up. Boom. Yeah, I'm loving that, man.
Hey, you guys heard what Monte said right there, right? He said, I'm not sure that people really know how that works, how that all works. This is my dude, Monte, man. Let me tell you something. I'm excited to have you on tonight, man. Kerwin says, Monte on the wireless PTZ cam with us tonight. Oh, this is priceless, man. This is priceless, bro. Man, listen, I'm excited to have you here, man. This is a long time coming. We've had you on before. You're no stranger to the How It All Works audience, of course, but we still want to start with our favorite question. We want you to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, your story, and this is a new piece. This is a new wrinkle, right? What does a typical week look like for Monte Weaver, right? Talk to us.
Okay. All right, so we'll give you guys a short version, because I know y'all want to do the Q&A stuff. So I grew up in the church. I was that kid that did not want to be in the play. So they said, you can go ahead and do the overhead projector. So it was back when I had the little laminate screens and the projector, and I slid the songs up and down through the courses. Yeah, so that's how I got started. Then it migrated to the tape ministry, and then it migrated to
ministry. Come on, talk about it.
Yeah, you remember tape ministry too, Kurt?
I do. Yo, somebody gave me a VHS last week. Oh my gosh.
I still have some old ones. I want to go through them. So yeah, man, we did tape ministry, migrated to the computer, and had PowerPoint presentations for the lyrics and the songs, and then actually did some editing for our TV because our church was on local TV station. So I would go over to Brother Bunny's house, and he would show me how to edit for TV. So we did that, 28.5 seconds, leave time for commercials and all this stuff. And this was Sunday right after service. So instead of going to 2 services, I just had a full long day. And then I was in high school at the time. So I was doing this on Sundays, and then, if the tapes didn't finish rendering for all the tapes we had to send to the different TV stations, I would go home, and then he would just finish it up and be like midnight, 1, 2 in the morning.
Wow.
And so that was kind of the beginning, man. And then, as we all know, we're in the phase of live streaming now. And so I'm lead media team at one of my churches now, and, help take it from camcorder to like integrating this live streaming component and doing more of that social outreach right now. And so that's the one phase of it. And then the other phase is creating content on social media, Amazon Live, YouTube Live, just showing up on social media, creating content. mainly based around video. So,
Right.
um, what does a week look like for me? Oh my gosh, it's ever changing. New daddy mode still. So baby
New
girl
daddy
is
mode. Congratulations, sir.
9 months old. So me and my wife, we were just talking before we jumped on here. So we just go around her schedule. So the sleep schedule is still, when it is, when it can be. But I create a lot of content during out the course of the day. Tuesdays are kind of my content creation day where I like block off for YouTube.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. We could pause right here. I want people to hear what he just said. Tuesdays are his content creation day. That is a tip. That is a hack. That is listen, you want to be productive, you need to block out a day. And then let me ask you this question, Monty. Do you take appointments on Tuesdays?
No,
You see?
no.
You see? You want to know how to be successful in this space. You want to understand what it takes to have all the things happening around you and still be able to produce. You need to listen in cleanly to what Monty is sharing with us right now. Doc, I cut you off. Continue.
Oh no, man, it's all good because that's so important when you're trying to create content. Distractions happen, and so you got to mitigate those distractions. No matter how many people want to email you, text you, you got to just stay focused to create the content. I was actually listening to something a little earlier today, Kurt, and the guy said you should be creating 3 times as much content as you're consuming. And so for people that are trying to figure it out, I don't know why I'm not growing. He said you're just doing it backwards. You're consuming more than you're creating. So my goal is to, like we all have friends in the space, Kurt, don't we? Like we all
Yeah.
have friends in the space that do it. And sometimes I get caught up in watching all of you guys. And it's one of those things that I have to remind myself is I can't follow you everywhere you go. I'm here to support for sure, but I still have to create content at the end of the day. And so many people, they'll just follow, but they'll never create anything of their own. So Tuesdays is content creation day. Fridays, I do trainings with my Amazon community, which is more content, but it's that place where they can actually do Q&A like we're going to do this evening. So that's kind of my day right now, my week. If you want to call it that. And I'm constantly testing out equipment throughout the week. I did PTZ camera today. I forgot who mentioned that. And yes, I got it's a webcam PTZ camera. So it's not like the full-fledged PTZ, but it's a webcam-based PTZ, which is pretty cool device
dope.
that I've actually tested out today, recorded YouTube video today for it. So looking for that one to be published, and you guys see that one soon.
That's good, man. That's good. We already have questions coming in the chat, and we're going to try and, sprinkle them in where we can. I'm going to actually try and bring this one on the screen. I have no idea how this is going to look. Oh, it came in on the other side. That's cool. So JP High Tech says, and I hope you can see this in the
I got my dual screen over here.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's try and see if we can get that back up. All right, there it is. Does Monty have a traditional 9-to-5? If yes, how do you manage your business alongside? If no, how do you grow your business to make consistent? So we got comments coming from all over. So let's clear this. Let's get rid of that real quick, and then we're gonna put this one back up here. I'm gonna star some of these. So Seesaw Studios, we're coming back to your comment. This is a comment bomb right here. I mean, a question bomb. It's a multiple layers. How do you grow your business to make consistent income to keep yourself employed? So talk a little bit about that part, man. I mean, I know I know that this is full time for you, correct?
Yeah. So I don't have a traditional 9-to-5, but I do have a long-term consultant. I'm a long-term consultant. So I don't go into an office or anything like that. So it's all remote, but it's based off of management. So if anybody that's done database management, you just need to make sure that database stays up. So as long as the database stays up, I'm good. We're not constantly doing 9-to-5 work all day, every day, because there's nothing to do. It's just make sure the database doesn't crash in. For the last, 3-4 years, the database has never gone down. So, and plus I don't fix the database. Even if it does go down, I just call up the people that have the skills to do it, because that is not my skill set. So don't have a traditional 9-to-5 job. So I am creating content all the time. One of the things to grow the business is like always promoting what it is that I do and showing people what I do. So when I got started putting a lot of that, what I do on YouTube, more so like the live streaming business, the content creation business, brand deals and sponsorship business, those things kind of took off in themselves. And so it does take some work to continue to grow those things, because I am only one person, but I do have VAs that help me create a lot of that content for awareness. But I'm always the one that has to show up in these spaces for the most part. So being able to take opportunities and leverage those opportunities is a big thing for me. Right now, brand deals and sponsorships are really significantly growing for me right now. So that's where I'm spending a lot of time, is creating content for specific brands, because it's a new space, and new spaces allow you to charge a little bit more than what you could charge doing some other projects. So I really like working with brands because they have bigger budgets, and so you don't have to work with as many brands. So I don't work a lot with direct consumers now. I try to go after the brands right now, because a handful of those will definitely keep you occupied, and it's worth it.
Yeah. Listen, that he's sharing gold with y'all, fam. I mean, one of the things that very similar to you, I have a long-term consulting arrangement. Let me say it that way. But it does require me to go in at least once or twice a week. So it's slightly different in that regard, but it is it's good work. It's one of those things that I'm giving back. If I was to actually charge what I normally charge, it would be a totally different scenario. But in this, they give me a stipend. Let me put it that way, right? It's not necessarily pay, but most of what I do is content creation and then remote production, right? So remote production is one of the services that my company offers. In fact, I still got on the composition media team shirt. Was wearing it today, just threw one on today, just because I don't normally wear them when I'm not, in the production booth. But I decided, let me go ahead and put this thing on today. But yeah, that's just kind of answering the same question that JP put in there. There is a level of intentionality, like Monty said, in terms of the content, in terms of, carving out time where I will be recording videos, carving out time, especially for those brand deal, videos that must be generated where you're on a bit of a timeline, and there is some criteria, some bullet points that you got to hit. So, and again, just like Monty, that's an area of significant growth for me as well. So great stuff there, man. We got some other questions coming in as well, man. The questions are popping tonight. I want to throw this one on screen real quick, because I do want people to understand. You shared your story, your origin story, but I mean, in terms of who Monty is and how you kind of got started, but in terms of like, what was the impetus? What was behind you posting that first video on YouTube? Now, I've heard some of this story before. I know you had been doing some stuff on Facebook, and that, transpired the way that it did, but share a little bit about both of those, and then, kind of what that impact has been for what you're currently doing now.
Yeah. I had no intention of getting on social media to share my life, if you want to say it that way. Really, I had a really good job. I was doing computer networking. My background at the time, I was doing VTC production. So I was doing video. I understand how video works and how it transmits from this place to this place. And we were troubleshooting pixelation issues. Long story, but I love the job. I'm certified by a company that was called Tandberg at the time in VTC, but they're now owned by Cisco. So I know video and just how it works, right? But buddy of mine, he was on Periscope with me, and he was like, "You should show people this thing you do with video," because I knew how to live stream. Maybe it just wasn't public knowledge on social media, right. In the private sector. This stuff was already there, so it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah, so it wasn't new at all. So he was like, "Man, you should show people how to do this live streaming thing on Periscope." So I was like, okay, well, I'll do a webinar and I'll teach people how to go live using a platform at the time called OBS. It's still out there. It's a free platform, and it was like the only one available. So I literally had a webinar and showed people, this is how you go live to Facebook using OBS. And really didn't think any business about doing anything after that. I didn't realize I was going to have 146 people sign up for this webinar, and I had no replay to sell, nothing to sell. This was back in 2016. And so in the course of 2016 to 2020, I was trying to figure it out. Like, where should I show up on social media? What is my offering? How much do I charge? What do I really want to do? Do I want to work, or do I want to like really focus in on business? And in 2020, I just started to like jump into YouTube, because I was intimidated by YouTube, because it's YouTube, and some of the videos you see from your favorite creators, you're like, I can't recreate that. So I'm not even going to try. But I did this series in 2019 on Facebook automation and messenger bots, and just how powerful they were. And when I did the conference in October, November of 2019, this gentleman came up to me and said, the information you shared on Facebook was great. I want to watch the videos. And then we all know how Facebook works. If you want to go back and try to chronologically find videos that you did for a whole month in order months ago, like hang it up, it's not going to work. So I was like, man, if I would have recorded and just live streamed these videos on YouTube,
YouTube
I had a whole playlist. And so that was
already.
my catalyst for jumping on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then March 2020, we all know what happens. World shuts down. Just about that time, I was kind of getting fed up with some of the church clients I was working with. Like, you need to be on video, get on video, start live streaming. Like nobody wanted to listen. And so if you're a media person in the ministry, just let us know in the chat, because then all of a
Come
sudden,
on, raise your hand.
just like, how do we do this? What's going on? So my video that I had was more so a course, and I just put it on YouTube, a 20-minute portion of it. It just took off like wildfire because all of these ministries were trying to figure out, how do I go live? How do I have my service online? And so that video really was the catalyst for YouTube growth, and it tremendously impacted my YouTube channel. And then I've been just creating more content just like that. But, Kurt, when you've been doing this for a long time, you kind of take it for granted. Like, I've been doing this since 2016. So what I was sharing in 2020 was not new at all. It was like 5 years old in my mind. And I'm just like waiting for people to catch up to where I was already trying to get them to be.
Look, we struck a chord here now, man. All the ministers are in the chat. G. Albert says, Monty, amen, amen, amen. Lakia says, hand raised. JP puts his hand up as well. Seesaw Studios is saying, preach. Computer Foul says, our ministry did not want to live stream, and we record and just post to YouTube. But listen, there's so much to be said. I mean, this is what I love about sharing stories. Is I think that sometimes when we hear what happened with people like Monty, people like myself, people like John and April, who were on last week, and we share, how we came to this. For me, it was very similar to Monty in that I just was sharing. This trick, Monty. So I had to explain to somebody how to do sound, how to get the sound piece right in StreamYard 5 times, and so then on that 5th time, I was like, I'm making a video. So I made the video, put it up for that person, and then it ended up getting picked up by the algorithm, and that video has like, I don't know how many thousands of views on it now, but that's kind of was the impetus. Was like, oh, there's a market here for this kind of information, and not necessarily, some of us are not as intentional as we would have liked to have been, but I think when people hear that origin story, we can resonate. We can kind of say to ourselves, oh, okay, so it doesn't have to be this huge, grandiose, like it was a part of my master plan to be on YouTube and to conquer the world. No. It's not a Pinky in the Brain kind of scenario. Sometimes it's really what, like, Monty was trying to solve a specific issue. I want to have this playlist of content that people can consume. YouTube was the best place for it. And then YouTube allowed him a whole bunch of other opportunities to be able to grow. I see you in the comments, David Hunt. Thank you so much for sneaking in from choir rehearsal. Listen, we got a couple more questions. I'm going to try and grab a couple of these here. JB High Tech, we got his question, so I'm gonna take that one off. But Lakia asked, can you talk about how you set up for hybrid events? What's your setup for hybrid events? Talk a little bit about that, Monty.
Yeah, so first, it really depends on what the client wants. A lot of them still really don't understand how hybrid works and some of the capabilities. So I really try to understand what they want. For me, what I like to try to let them know is, like, you have real people that just aren't physically there. So we still want to cater to them during this conference. And so some of that is education up front to remind them, hey, there are people actually watching you that have paid to watch you at this event. So make sure you don't forget them. So depending on how that conversation goes, what I like to do, I have a platform that I like to use called ViewStub. I've been using their platform for a long time. Quite frankly, they came out in 2020, and I was already really starting to migrate toward how do we pull off more easy to do hybrid events, because there's a lot of people that are local. We have pop-up workshops and pop-up conferences, and that was really the market I was trying to get into with. So by showing them how they could easily do a hybrid workshop. Just set up your camera in the back of the room. You can charge tickets, you can go live and still have your in person. And you don't have to be a technical person to do this at all. That was really what I was going for. And so I still use the same platform to this day that has chat features built into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy for the client, because if they don't know how to use it, they won't use it at all. So when I show them what they're actually getting, they're appreciative, because they're able to sell more tickets than what they would have done by not doing it. So I just use one simple platform. I try to keep things very, very simple. I think that was the quote I sent over to Kurt, is just keep it simple. Because sometimes as technical people, we can go all kinds of directions and put all kind of flash on it, but we're also the ones that have to manage all that flash as well. And so most of the clients, they don't really care. They just want it to work. So I do keep a lot of those simple. Now, the more complex production ones, we definitely have a full on team. But for a lot of the events I do, it's just me. And I might have one person that helps me, camera operator, pulling cables or something like that. But to actually run it, I can do everything by myself.
Yeah. And you utilize a lot of different components, like the PTZ remote controllers and stuff like that as well for those.
That makes it so easy.
I think just what you said there is probably the best rule of thumb. Understanding the client's vision, what they want to achieve and what they want to accomplish is a really huge factor in setting this thing up for success. But then also trying to keep that thing as simple as possible, man. A lot of people will see my show and they're like, that's nice. I don't want anything that complicated, but I like it. I like it. And so that's my kind of sort of my job here, is to kind of let people know what's possible, but not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that, we want exactly that. Although there have been situations where people are like, no, I want exactly that. So it's interesting to consider as well. I'm going to get one more comment here before we give our audience question. And that is from Stephen Woods. He's talking about, this was part of our news component last week, the newly announced PTZ camera from Sony. Did you see that?
I did. I was waiting for that announcement. I saw Sony had an announcement coming, and I looked at the picture. I was like, ooh, that looks like it could be something mobile.
Yes, it is. That I don't know how many of you guys got a chance to watch that. I shared last week that I would be watching that on Tuesday, and I did. I watched it, and I mouth on the floor for two reasons. Number one, the price.
Yeah,
the price was like, ooh, okay, that's out of the realm of possibility for most, if not all, of the people I work with. And then the second part was just what it makes possible. They did this demo where they put the camera underneath the sheet with this subject, with this lady was waking up. They're trying to film this piece, and they just had it do this one movement, and by the camera doing the movement, it moved the sheet naturally, and it moved the sheet in the same way every time. You as a human, getting it the exact same way every time is almost impossible. They also did a shot, I don't know if you saw this part, Monty, but where they came in through the sunroof, did this quick turnaround, and then came back out. Ridiculous.
Yeah, what you can get with robotic cameras is, you can't get that perfect shot handheld all the time. There's some shots you want handheld, the certain movement, but there's other movements where that camera can reach places that you're not going to be able to reach. That's what, I find myself when I watch sporting events or conferences, I'm always looking at the boom crane operator. Like that camera angle that you're seeing isn't possible for someone to physically be there. Like, so you need a device that allows you to do. And I think this camera is going to really, really be integrated well in a lot of different productions. I'm excited to see it in action.
I think their tagline as well, the future of video is robotic, and I was like, that there's some truth to be said for that. And here's the reason why I say that. I don't know if another product that I was following last week is the Edelkrone. It's like you put your tripod on it, and then you can actually program how it moves your camera around. And again, it's just amazing. I mean, so now with the Edelkrone, it's a lot more attainable because you're taking your existing equipment and putting it on this device and getting that robotic movement, that smooth movement, kind of like a slider. But Again, just a lot of different things that we can be thinking about, and a lot of your, you know, mid tier and top tier YouTubers and content creators, 10K is not out of their reach. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start seeing this thing
Oh yeah.
in use in a lot of different productions. It's gonna happen. Seesaw says, I own the Edelkrone Jib one. It's amazing and affordable. I totally agree. It is definitely back in the realm of possibility. But yeah, man, listen, we want to get this question out here for the audience, right? We've got 17 of you guys watching in right now. Have you ever had any issues with live streaming, with live shopping, with video production, or with brand deals? And I wanted to let you know that this is your time to ask. We've gotten a couple of questions in, and we've been trying to make sure we field those as quickly and as best as we can. But we want to get all of your questions in now. Guys, just put a Q in front of that thing. That's going to help me out to be able to kind of parse through what is comments from what is questions. So just put a Q in front of that thing. But we want to, if you've ever had, I'm telling you. So first of all, like the reason why I put that list on the screen is because we have an expert in Monte who can help us in all of the different areas that I just outlined. Okay, live streaming, live shopping, video production, brand deals. So let's get it together. We've gotten a couple in here. I just want to make sure we get some more. And guys, if you know other people who have had issues, this is the time to tag them in the comments. If you're on Facebook, just at them. Or if you're on YouTube, you can at them now too, right? That's a whole thing. And you can do in the comments on YouTube now. If you know their YouTube channel, you can at them as well. Or just drop the link in a text message and say, hey, man, they're answering questions over here. Let's get it in. Avery says, I've been waiting. I've been waiting on this. Come on, Avery. Come on with your questions. While you guys are getting your questions locked and loaded, I want to throw this one up here for Monte. Share with us your number one hack for video and content creators. Your number one tip, trick, best practice for content creators and live video creators.
Record everything. Hit record and just let it go. Sometimes we get stuck in what do I create? When you hit record and you just start working and doing the thing that you do, you have so much, you'll have enough content until either your camera dies or your car gets full. There's no excuse to not have some content created.
Wow.
So literally right now, Kurt, you know, sometimes we're techie, so we kind of have a lot of stuff. So right now I have, I don't know, 3 or 4 cameras all pointed at me at the same time for different camera angles, right?
Right.
So I can go through it later and have so much content. I'm sure I'm going to say something that's going to be relevant for social media somewhere. So having that already done in this setting is one, a time saver, because I don't have more time to sit there and like create something dedicated all the time for social media platforms. I'm thinking about just hitting the record button, composition, you know, sitting in the middle third. So if I want to do short form video, TikTok, IG Reel, if I'm sitting in the middle, it's very easy for the editor to go in and just like grab it. So hit record on everything and you'll have more content and you know what to do with it.
Yeah, I have to say, one of the things that I saw on your channel when I was checking it out to make sure I had it queued up for the show today was the full video podcast studio that you guys did at VidFest. I thought that was dope. I was like, man, you killed that behind
that, man.
Go, yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
We had planned to do the setup. I didn't plan to do the recording of the video. So it was funny because when I looked at the final edit, I was like, man, I need to do this again. So we're actually going to do that again. And I'm going to do it more detailed. In October, I'll be speaking at a conference called Bootstrapping Business and Ministry. And that Friday, we're going to do the exact same thing. So I'm looking forward to redoing the video part 2. But we set that whole thing up in like 30 minutes. Everything we set up in like 30 minutes. And then we had to have it broke down in time for our speaking engagement in the Orlando Podfest, where me and you were hanging out down there with a whole bunch of Amazon Live creators. Yeah, we did that Friday morning, man, before we had to actually speak.
I got to tell you, I was the B-roll, it's one of those things where it's like you get a chance to go behind the scenes and see this setup, which is part of what I absolutely love to do on Amazon as well, just kind of show people that behind the scenes look. But seeing it from this angle and seeing the B-roll and some of the other things that are there, I was like, wow, that's awesome. All right, okay, I gotta get back to our thing here because questions are rolling in. All right, we got we got a question from Mozart Woods Media. Now, this question may be more for me, but either way, I mean, I'm pretty certain you know the answer as well. But Mozart Media says, how do you connect Stream Deck to EV Mux? And so here's the clincher, Mozart Media. They have built-in hotkeys on EV Mux and on StreamYard and on Restream and all the different tier 2 web-based streaming platforms. So there isn't like a direct connection. You will have to look at your list of hotkeys and then program them on the Stream Deck to be able to do those functions. And I'm again, I'll be having a video coming out on this in the next couple of weeks, but one of the things that you could probably do right away is just take a look at the video that I created on Stream Deck and StreamYard. And it's the exact same process that you will want to follow in order to set up your Stream Deck with EV Mux. It's just whatever those hotkeys are, they'll work. In fact, I've actually used some of the hotkey buttons that I set up for StreamYard for EV Mux because they're both web-based, so they're both going to live in the browser, and they're some of the routine tasks are actually similar. You have a ton more hotkeys with EV Mux because of the pro scenes and some of the other things that you can do there. So, but yes, I wanted to make sure you get that answer. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that one, Monty, but we got more coming in.
Yeah, you're good because my Stream Deck has like one button program too, and I just did that last week. I have not reprogrammed my Stream Deck. I keep saying I am, but I just haven't got to it.
Hey, listen, man, you are doing what works for you. One of the things I love about what you do, and you just shared it a second ago, and I actually talked to my video editor about this as well, is just record everything. And so you do the ISO route, right? You have all the cameras on, and you're just recording everything. And so then the video editor gets the raw footage, and they can actually cut and splice and push, pull, zoom in, zoom out, have things animate on screen in whatever way they deem or see fit. So I just love that aspect of being able to, especially as a creator, because sometimes you're like, man, I wish I had shown this angle, or I wish I had recorded this angle. I mean, honestly, that's really the issue is recording the angle. So I love your workflow as well. Listen, we want to get this one from Albert. Albert says, live streaming, folks at church want to live stream but have technical phobia. This says Q, but I don't really see the question there, Albert. Maybe you can rephrase that for us. Live streaming, folks at church, media, ministry, and leadership want to live stream but have technical phobia. What is it? I don't want to assume. So let's come back to that one. Albert, help us out. Let us know what's your question on that one, because we don't want to assume there. In the meantime, we're going to take Dave's dimension here. Go ahead and grab this one, Monty.
Something like that, Danny. Oh no, I don't think that's Danny. I don't know. I'm a small church, which is a wide mix of content, action, fig, collectible. Oh, it went away from me, Kurt. Can you read it off?
Okay, my bad. I got it on screen, but I don't know if you could see it on the.
Yeah, my confidence monitor is way over here.
Way too far. Got it.
I need some glasses for my confidence.
Let me read it through here for you. I'm a small church, which is a wide mix of content. ... So action, fig / collectibles, pop culture, occasional video game streams, few tech reviews. Am I doing more harm than good?
Yeah. Pick.
Yeah.
Pick one lane. Why are we coming to your channel? Even for my YouTube channel, like I quickly found out that people did not care about Amazon Live on my main YouTube channel. So as the content that I had put up before was about live streaming and video, when I put up any video about Amazon Live, they're like, what is this? We don't care. This is not why we're here. So I've created a whole separate channel that is going to be dedicated to like live shopping, like this whole industry over there. it's still something I really want to create content about. It's something that people know me for. So I still need to create the content, but I cannot put it on the same channel because it actually hurts the channel. So you guys are expecting me to put tech videos up there and not every and anything up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely want to niche down on that.
Yeah. Dave's mentioned, I mean, niching down is critical. I think the way Monty shared that, and he's also sharing from his own experience as well. One of the things that I like to do with coaching clients is to see, now maybe not possible with all the things you have here, but see if there is a nexus of some of the areas of interest that you have. And what I call that is layering, because by combining two interest area, what you have is actually a smaller niche. So in your list here, you talk about tech reviews and you talk about video game streams. Well, what if you reviewed tech for video games? You see, if you put them together, you have a smaller niche, but you're still combining your passions. Now, I don't know how you would do that with action figures and collectibles, so I don't know, you wouldn't be able to do it with all of them. So niching down is still necessary, but where possible, if you can find an overlap, because one of the processes of niching down is actually combining passions. So I am a content creator. Well, I'm a content creator of faith. That's a smaller niche. Okay, I'm a Black content creator of faith. That's a smaller niche. As you start to layer, you start to get into a lane where you're saying, okay, now I can become an expert in this particular space because it's a smaller niche. And that's what niching down is all about. So I just wanted to add that in there, bro. Dave's Dimensions, man. Listen, you got a lot of content there. Don't let this be a deterrent to creating content. All right. We don't want to be a deterrent, but you definitely, as you asked, you're definitely doing too much. And it can be more harmful than good. So following some of these practices and principles that Monty shared and I shared, hopefully will get you across the line. We got Lakia. I'm gonna read her question for you, Monty. She says, when you do the hybrid events, do you connect directly into the event space router, or do you connect into their Wi-Fi?
Depends on what I have access to. So I got grilled in my comment section one time for this, Kurt. And I said I just use the Wi-Fi. And like sometimes I just use the hotspot on my phone. And I have yet to have an issue with just using the Wi-Fi. Now I do test it out before I go to the venue, if at all possible. Ideally, I would like to be in the router. I have only successfully been able to access their router because of how far it is, where it's located, one time for one event. So every other time I've had to do Wi-Fi connections. I'm getting ready to do wedding seasons, getting ready to come up in the spring. And so I was just going back and forth with someone for the wedding and looking at the venue. The venue is outside. So like I can't physically, so I'm doing Wi-Fi for that. And I've had no problem with it. I try to use two different Wi-Fi sources if possible. That way, if one falls, then I have the backup. But the streams, bind them. But I've had no issues with doing it Wi-Fi. Now, if you're in a bad Wi-Fi area, with service provider area, then those are things that I look for before we actually do the live stream, so that I do know what I'm getting myself into. But if I have full strength, then I'm comfortable with just going the Wi-Fi route.
I think I totally agree. I think what you're hearing, Lakia, is first of all, test and more test, because what Monty's saying is actually qualified by that first statement of it depends on what I have access to. It depends on what I saw when I tested, and so don't just take it as a blank statement. Just use Wi-Fi. Now, if you get to a venue and they're saying, here's the Ethernet cable, and you're like, no, I'll take Wi-Fi. That's not what we're saying.
I want hardwired. Yeah, we all want hardwired, hardwired microphone, hardwired camera, hardwired internet. That is the ideal situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, Albert did come back. He says live streaming. Now, folks want to use some kind of live streaming interactivity to draw in more people with one stipulation. It has to be simple. Okay, Albert, I'm still not seeing the question, Doc. I'm not seeing the question. You put Q in there, but I am not seeing the question. I'm going to try and read this again. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's me. Live streaming. Folks want to use some kind of live streaming interactivity to draw in more people. With one stipulation, it has to be simple. I don't, it seems like a statement, and I agree with the statement. but I just don't see the question though. So I'm going to keep moving, man. We'll come back to you. Computer Pal has a question here, and I'm moving because we're coming up on our time. You think live streaming lessen the worship experience? Do you think the live streaming lessens the worship experience? Also, when would you not recommend live streaming services? Talk to them, Monty.
I'm kind of I don't quite understand the perspective of the first part of that.
Do you think live streaming lessens the worship experience?
I think it depends on that viewer, because I've been in a man, I was watching one of the a live stream, and I was done, Kurt. Like the praise and worship had me done. I'm watching this on the screen at TV. Like I've had in that experience, I've had the same in person as well. But I was so dialed in watching it online. You know, like I wasn't being distracted by everything in the house. Like I was in tune with that worship experience. So I really think it depends on the viewer.
I agree.
And on the tech side, you know, are we doing our job? Like I'm big on that. You know, if I'm producing this, I know that how I deliver.
That's it. Oh, that's good.
But so when I used to run like the audio only for the most part, there were parts of the song that I would adjust because I knew the effect that it would have, especially the worship songs. So if I push that saxophone up just a little bit more, or I push that tenor up a little bit more, like I knew how
you're talking now
that message would be. So on the production side of that, I'm very aware of that for praise and worships to make it a better experience overall. I forgot the second part of that question, but I think it depends on the viewer for the most part.
You said a whole word right there. There's something to be said for having people who are worshipers in charge of the worship experience. Because they're, like you just said a second ago, you will push different pieces at different times. Like even from a production standpoint, it's like the way you do your cuts from cameras, the way you're going to pull in that angle, the way you bring comments on screen. You do that strategically because you're trying not to disrupt the worship experience. You're trying to enhance the worship experience. His second part of the question was, when would you not recommend live streaming services?
Yeah, this is a good question, because there's times where people don't want to be on camera. Like they won't come to the altar if they think they'll be on camera because they don't want to be seen. So for privacy, so things like that, I would definitely be aware of. Now, if that leader is on camera, I'm live streaming. Like it I hate using it depends, but there's some cases where you may not want to live stream everything. I mean, there's some messages that maybe are for the in-house only that don't need to be public. So there are times where our church is like, all right, this message is for the house. Like we're cutting off the live stream, and the only people that are here need to hear this message. You know, it's one of those messages, or hey, it was that brought a correction type of message. So it's not
talk about it.
A message for someone around the world to watch. So there are times where we've not live streamed, but if it's one of those regularly scheduled live streams, like, our services are on Sunday at 10 a.m. Every single Sunday at 10 a.m. you can expect to see a live stream. Now, if it's not streaming, we try to put out that message ahead of time and say, we're not going to be streaming, because your audience shows up and you're not there. Like they're not going to come back that often, and they're going to go find somebody else to watch, and that somebody else may come back every week consistently. So we do try to let them know as best as possible if particular service won't be live streamed. But our regularly scheduled services, we're doing that all the time. But sometimes we might end it a little bit early. Just depends on the flow of service. I know for smaller churches, you may not have like specific camera angles to cut away to. So you're kind of stuck with what you have. And so in those cases, you may, if you don't have a be right back screen or something that can fill that spot, your only alternative is to cut off a live stream. But we have, some slides built in, and I'm actually working on, that's part of a project I'm working on now too, is like a little commercial in case we need to do cutaways. And then we can come back later on.
Man, that's good, man. There's so much to be said there. I didn't know that we were going to dive so deep with on the worship side, on the faith-based side of what we do. But I think there's something to be said for just kind of, and it this kind of spans outside of faith-based as well. We just need to be mindful of what we're sharing. There are clients projects where I'm like, I don't know if we really want to include that. It's nothing to do with church, nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with faith. And then you're still just kind of have to ask yourself the questions. Does this translate well online? Does this part of what we're doing, especially for hybrid, does it translate well for an online audience, and so we just have to ask ourselves those questions, because I think there are times where it does not make sense, and you want to be sensitive to what you're sharing for the world to see. I love the way you said that. Like, this is not for the whole world. Some of these are just for in-house and, the rod of correction. I love it. Fam, I think we have exhausted our time, man. We're coming right at the buzzer here at 7:59. I want to give Monte an opportunity to share anything that you want to add, or I don't know if you have any offers for the How It All Works audience. I know I always ask our guests to talk about that, if there is anything that you want to share there or add, but also just take a second to kind of plug some of the things that you guys got going on. What are some of the things that you want people to be aware of and how they can follow through to catch up with you? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I put it in the chat there. So I will be speaking. This is the third annual conference called Bootstrapping. We call it Bootstrapping Redefined this year, and it's for ministries and business owners, small business owners, and we're really working on like the delivery plan. So a lot of times we do theory in business and ministry and how to grow and succeed in it. But this year we're actually like doing a lot of the practical stuff. So nice. I'm going to be speaking there. It's going to be at October 21st in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So if you definitely want to like pick my brain, that is the place to do it.
That's great.
We'll have some time to really dive into it. I'm going to be bringing a lot of my gear to like document the podcast setup. I'm going to be actually live streaming the hybrid conference of this event and speaking. So I'm dual hatted in it. And it's a way for people to kind of see how I get these brand deals for Amazon Live. So like everything is a cohesion thing with me. So conferences are the best time to connect with me, because Kurt, I literally took my consultation calendar. I think it's like 1 or 2 days a week, and I only open it up if someone randomly sends me a message and they're like, "Can we talk?" Well, I'll go into the calendar. Outside of that, it's like closed all the time, just because I'm just creating content or I'm working on a project or something. So being able to kind of hang out with me in that space, and especially anybody that's more technical and just wants to see it, like I'm definitely there to show you guys how I'm connecting up stuff, why I'm using certain stuff. Like I pulled out the YOLO box today that was sent over to me because
nice.
It's like I use this for sporting events now, so I took it out to do some testing at my nephew's football game, and I live streamed the football game just using this device. I had a guy come up to me. He's like, "What is that thing?" He'd never seen that before. I'm like, "Yeah, I love that. It's pretty new, but these types of things, you can't always put out there and create videos for on YouTube, because there's time that goes into the editing and upload and all that stuff. But whenever you can meet me in person and pick my brain, I'm definitely willing to do that. So we'll be having that conference in October, and I'm looking forward to that. Matter of fact, that's the third conference. So the first one's the one I told you about as my catalyst for jumping on YouTube, you guys.
Oh, nice. Now listen, man, I want to say a word of thanks to you. People in the comments, I didn't put these up on screen, but people in the comments have been saying multiple times over, thank you guys so much for answering our questions. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective and really helping us to put those puzzle pieces together and connect the dots. Sometimes, listen, fam, sometimes a well-placed question could be the difference maker between making the right decision or making an uninformed decision. An uninformed decision can be a wrong decision. Can be, not always, but can be a wrong decision. And you want to make sure you have all the information so that you can make an informed decision. I'm excited about this space that we've created. Second Mondays on the channel here, How It All Works, the mid-month huddle. Thank you so much, Monte. We want to say a word of thanks to Monte for coming through. Monte, don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap this thing up, and then we will get into our a DIY video creators group. Man, listen, fam. I sometimes I'm shocked and surprised and amazed myself. But because the guests come through, they come with fire. Like Monte came through today and just gave you guys a masterclass in terms of some of the things that you can do to level up your production, to set up your content creator, your content creator workflow in a way that actually is consistent, that allows you to really step up your game and produce more content. One of the things I absolutely want to make sure you guys leave with, and don't write this one down, okay? It's 2 words: record everything. Record everything, y'all. Like that in and of itself is definitely worth the price of admission, and the price of admission was free. So you guys got a handful today, man. Thank you guys so much. I do not take for granted your time and attention. For my replay squad, thank you so much as well. Always love having you guys come through. I always love engaging with you guys in the comments. And I know for somebody like Monte, somebody's going to jump in the comments as well, especially if we tag him. So if you have questions, even in the replay, go ahead and throw them in here. We would love to be able to hang out with you guys. It's your boy, Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher. Thankful for this time that we've been able to spend together. Thankful that we've been able to have this mid-month huddle to have our live video Q&A, and we're excited about having our guest this month was Monte Weaver. I hope that you guys have a great one. Enjoy the week. We'll see you next week, but definitely we'll see you in another video. Later, fam.